Fletcher. But the way that this film has been so embraced, and the way that this movie has touched so many people, and the commitment that you both have given to make this movie so different from the traditional formulaic biopic. Like how proud are you that the movie, since it premiered in Cannes back in May, that the movie still continues to elicit this kind of response?
Go on, love. You go first.
All right. It's not easy to put into words, but I think that's what you say. Since we came out in May, which is 7 long months ago. How long ago is that? 6, 7. To still be here and see like the full theatre and have you guys stand up when we come in and just the reaction from it. I stood and watched the last 10 minutes there with you guys because that's always such a thrill. But it's really hard to just go, oh yeah, it's really nice. It's way beyond that. It's sort of, yeah, it's just beautiful. It's really lovely because you kind of feel the appreciation and the warmth and affection for the film, which kind of feels like it could be 5 years later. And if that was the case, that somewhere, 5 years down the line, they show the film and people go, I'm going to go see it just to have that big screen experience. It's really hard to put into anything.
How about you, Taron?
Yeah, I think when you spend so much time making something, and particularly something like Rocketman, it's a really personal, really emotional experience. It's the movie that we were excited by and we were moved by the idea of, but when you're making it, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be what everyone else finds exciting and what everyone else finds moving. And so, and also for us it's such a special episode in our lives, and so when the movie that we were excited and made emotional by has the same effect on a room full of people who don't know, that's a really magical feeling, and it's and it's hugely validating and rewarding. So thank you for being here, and thank you for watching it, and thank you for supporting it. It really means
Dexter, since the movie has now it's on home entertainment, on Blu-ray, that's a plug. Watch it from the comfort of my 65-inch TV. To really just see how the musical numbers feel like they stand alone. Like each musical number has its own identity. So what were the challenges to do that for both of you? And what were the challenges just in general to make a film about someone like Elton John and make it feel unique and not a traditional biopic?
Well, I don't think we ever approached it like a biopic. I think in our sort of listening to your question is that we approached it like a musical, and that's why Taron sings everything that you hear, because it's music.
unbelievable.
If you go to the theatre and see a Broadway show, you would expect the person to come out on stage and sing. This is no different. We never approached it in any different way, and we knew that we had something special when we approached it in this way, with that entrance where he comes in and essentially says, I'm an alcoholic, I want to get better, and I've got to examine my life. And so it's an examination of a life through someone in the first person. It's not a sort of third person biopic kind of, oh, this happened, that happened on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it happened by the... We jump around all over the place, if we were to tell our own personal stories, we sort of dip in and out all over the place, and so that gave the film a freedom and a fantasy and an imagination that kind of lent itself to being authentic to Elton. That's what we always felt, and that's why that was always exciting. And therefore, the numbers take on their own identity in that way.
The thing about the two of you working together before, for Eddie the Eagle, how does that comfort level sort of like free you a little more to do something so challenging and so daring, something like you've never done before, the trust?
Yeah, I think it's, it is partly that, the bit of experience we've had together, but it's more just to do with the fact that we really, really enjoy each other's company, we make each other laugh. I think we both like the same things and we both get excited by the same types of work, and yeah, I don't know, Dex, I feel very creative when I'm with Dex and when we're working together, and I feel like also I know, although Dex has got a really lovely blend of knowing what he wants but also being very open to being taken in directions that he doesn't necessarily expect, and that's a really healthy, great place I think for a director to be in, and I don't know, we I don't know, there's a tremendous amount of planning and work and ideas that came and went when we were making Rocketman, but also I think we find the time to make play and fun a part of what we do, and I think that's part of what we do well together, and it's part of our shared creative process. And I don't know, I'm not making sense.
We have a good time.
We have a good time, and I think we're a good team. And we both feel that when we're working, and we're not afraid to be honest with each other, but I think we're also excited by each other creatively.
What the possibilities are.
Yeah.
Now, Dexter, when you first came on board to do this, when you first envisioned, how you were going to make this movie, and you were going to make a film about it, Taron, were you on board yet? Like, who was first? Who came first?
It all kind of happened fairly, as you said, Dexter and I made this movie, Eddie the Eagle, and it was, it all kind of, it wasn't like, Dexter was looking at other actors and I was suggesting other directors. It all just sort of happened, and it was, I think for both of us, there was no one else. It was all put together around us, and it felt like a good. It felt like it meant to be. We made this movie Eddie the Eagle, and I had a really good time doing it, and that was in no small part due to Dex, and I think we both felt that we loved making that movie, and we're so proud of it as this buddy comedy, sports, feel-good movie. But I think, honestly, we both felt coming out of it that we had something with a little bit more. I think we felt like we had another movie in us that was maybe a little bit more complex. I don't mean that in any way negatively about Eddie the Eagle, because as I say, we're both fiercely proud of it, but we felt that maybe we had another outing that was a bit more challenging in a different way, and that's Rocketman.
So the question is like, so this sort of happened organically, which it really sounds like it did. So like, did you ever like just sort of take a minute and go, yeah, I'm gonna play Elton John. Yeah, a bit. Hang on this. What? Did you ever have that moment?
I'm going to say, when the discussion started happening, to me it was like, that's a genius idea. Taron playing Elton, because I think it goes back to what Taron's saying, we were looking for something that, I think we see it as a progression, it's not kind of like we did Eddie and that's our first outing, and then Elton is something more grown up and kind of a bit more thoughtful and complex, and it just seemed like a really good next logical step. It didn't seem like, oh my God, we're going to play Elton, we got out of our depth. It was like, we've got to take this on. It's an absolutely brilliant challenge that we relished, and great Taron gets to use his voice. That's another element to what we've done before, what he's done before. There was nothing, of course it's all daunting. Don't get me, there's not one day when he doesn't turn up and go, he's got to do something completely different from what he did yesterday on Rocketman. There's no, you see the film, it's like, what is he going next? I mean, he's not, he's far from consistent. So you know what I mean? It's always a challenge, but trailer and seen him shave his head and stick teeth on and all sorts of different things and hot pants and God knows what he was wearing. So. And then amazing stuff would come out of it because it was never, oh right, okay, it's one of those days when it was all like, oh right, okay. But we didn't have time to think about it.
But when you're playing someone like Elton John, who's, you know, first of all, he's not subtle. He's been very, very, very open, and you know, whether it's through his music or through interviews. I mean, he's written a biography. You know, his landmark interview with Rolling Stone, I think it was in '76, where he came out. So he's been very forward with everything. But having said that, what is your point of connection to play your version of someone who is so well known? Like, how do you wrap your head around it and not imitate the guy, but play a human being?
I don't know. I think, you know, you've got a great script, and you know, and that's a series of scenes, and there are a series of situations, and you play each scene and each moment as honestly and as authentically as you can. And you know, acting's all about imagination. You know, I've never been to rehab, but I can imagine what that might feel like. I can talk to people who have, some of them who are near to me, and try and gain as complete a picture as possible of what that is. And I can totally imagine what it would be like to really want to have sex with Richard Madden. Because he's a really attractive, good-looking guy. You know, these are they're all leaps of the imagination, but they're not. You know, it's not leaping over the Grand Canyon. And I think you just don't. You know, I think you can't go into it thinking, oh my God, we're making a movie about Elton John. We've got to capture the magnitude of everything that is this iconic. You know, I mean, he was just voted the #1 solo male artist. You can't be thinking about that all day, every day. You lose your fucking mind. You know, but what you do is you're aware of it in the sense that you respect it, and it's the reason you're there because you're paying tribute to a great artist. But you know, the movie was never about sort of trying to, you know, capture him in all his perfection and kind of glorious majesty. It's about showing a person at their most vulnerable, and a person both at their peaks and their troughs. And I think what's really cool about Rocketman is, and that title track specifically in the movie, is that we show him at a peak and a trough simultaneously. And that's what the movie is about. You know, it's showing you a peak behind what your perception can be of someone, you know.
He was in these two extremes at the same time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I don't really know. We approached it with great care and lots of thought and creativity, and you know, and trusted that I trusted that when Dex put it all together, it would be really good.
I was reading an interview that Ron Howard had given about the documentary he made about the Beatles' touring years. And the only advice he got from Paul McCartney was just, he said, you know what, back in those days when we were touring, we were good friends and we loved each other. All the fighting didn't come until later. So just you can focus on the love that we had, the brotherhood. That would be awesome. So did you have any kind of sort of conversation with Elton about sort of what he would like this movie to be, sort of the sort of vibe, the projection, the idea of what he hoped would come across in the movie? Did he ever say to you, this is what I would love people to sort of take away with this movie? Or did he give you complete freedom?
He did give complete freedom. I think as the filmmakers, we have to interpret what that story is about, what it speaks to us about, and it's really difficult for Elton to comment on what he thinks it is, because for us it's first most about him being a survivor. You know, he survives extraordinary times and extraordinary emotional highs and lows, and for him to go make a film about me being a survivor doesn't ring true. It's not for him to sort of say in a way. And I think this is the genius of what he did, is that he let us interpret what was good and bad and interesting and dynamic and dramatic and exciting about his story our own way. He looked at everything that we did and we talked about everything in depth, and he'd tell you anything you want to know. But it was for us to see him as a person as much as we humanly could in that process, and then get that out there as the most authentic way we could. It's part of the beauty of Taron's great friendship and relationship with him. Part of how he communicates that, how I talk to him and what my understanding would be. And all of us across the creative spectrum of the film. And I think that's what's really strong about, even though Elton is the producer, he's not like over it. You know, he's sort of when. Do you know what I mean, Taron? It's like,
yeah, I think it's. I think sometimes when you're making a movie, not that I've got a great deal of experience of it, but I think sometimes the perception of making a movie about someone's life, let's call it a biopic for the sake of making a point, that you're sort of trying to reach for some perfect iteration of it that was exactly what happened, and it's an exact carbon copy, and somehow that is the greatest thing you can aspire to creatively, is for it to be exactly as it was. And that is just not the movie we made. What you see, we don't know what the layout backstage at the Troubadour is like. Frankly, we don't care, we wanted to, what you see up there is what we imagine it might have been like, with a bit of movie pixie dust in it, because it's going to be, that bit of the movie, it's probably about as near as it ever gets to farce, where I'm kind of, having a bit of a histrionic backstage. I don't think Elton John meant, the Troubadour's tantrums weren't that funny, I'm sure. But it felt right for that moment. So I just think that we're not, well, I think we just very openly not subscribe to that idea that we're trying to make something that's, a documentary. It's a reimagining. Everything you see is it's an interpretation of his story. And Elton said in an article that he penned in the UK, said not everything in the movie is fact, but it is the truth. And I just thought that was a lovely way of putting it, because it is that the spirit of Elton and Bernie's relationship, which is the beating heart of the movie, is absolutely truthful to who they are. And I know because I've spent time around them both, and I've read letters between them, and read accounts of what they were like. But no, that isn't the exact cafe they were in, and it's not the exact name of the cafe either. I don't think, but because I think because we've embraced that and made it part of the stylistic choice of the film, it doesn't then feel like a cop out or like we just haven't done our research, because it's something we've owned as a stylistic choice, and it is frightening, but people get it, and that's
and that's something that really emerged as we made the film as well. The more we went on, the more that relationship emerged, the more Jamie and Taron worked together and found this kind of beating heart bit. I was like, this is where the film lies, this is what it is, and I can't honestly say, I was like, I'm making a film about two guys who just love each other. It found its voice, it found its way, and that was part of the joy of it. Those things that found their way through, and that's what made it kind of exciting.
When you're preparing to do, your rehearsal, whatever, and then you've got magic time, with the production design, the wardrobe, the hair, the makeup. How does that elevate your performance, especially on the bigger scenes, maybe the musical ones? How does that bring out the magic in you that you didn't know you had?
I think it's always really exciting seeing anyone's design on a film set. It's all a kind of symbiotic, organic process, and there are, of course, departments, because it would be carnage and chaos otherwise. But ultimately, you're all feeding and contributing to one thing, which is the film. And if you're in the right space creatively, you just constantly feel excited by what everyone brings you. And of course, the aesthetic of a character feeds into it, and helps transport you to that place where you are imaginatively somewhere else. But equally, the environment, Marcus's design, every element of it, is of course, you couldn't do it in a vacuum. It would be like a weird piece of sort of austere physical theatre, wouldn't it? You know, I mean, like it's all part of a whole, and no one part of the filmmaking team can exist without another.
Yeah, and what it really works well is when the detail of what those departments do become really quickly sort of engaging for the actor. You know, it's like very quickly when you go into that room that is your childhood home, there's a detail in there that someone has kind of put in there that you gravitate towards, and it just clicks and resonates with what your detail is. You know, it's really good filmmaking creativity comes from it in the detail of it, you know, and it's what you gravitate towards, and what the stuff that you don't, that isn't any use to kind of pass by, but in the costume, you know, and in the house and the design, I'm not sort of articulating it well, but they're the things that sort of marry it all together, and it takes the actor to sort of now and go, oh, that's good, I get something from that feeds, you know, what I'm building.
So obviously you and Elton got pretty tight. I mean, you had met before, and you sang one of the songs that everybody sing. So when you had a birthday recently, what did you get?
I gave him the glasses for your song, the ones that I wear when writing your song. I just prescription.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. So you text each other and say, hey, what's up, Mike?
Yeah. It's no longer that weird to me, which is weird in itself. But yeah, I sent him a video earlier, a few hours ago, of Bob Dylan and Joni Mitchell jamming, and he emailed back. I won't tell you what it says. I can't repeat a lot of words.
What was the artist musical number to film?
They are all hard to film. There's some that are an absolute joy. Your song being particularly right, because that is sung live on the day, on the set. It's recorded there and then. The music is added on. There's another one where he sings "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me," which him and Cylindra sings, a beautiful actress. I thought that was particularly hard because it's so emotional, that moment, and it's such a big song. And of course, there's stuff that's choreographed, and it's lots of moving parts and lots of people and cameras going on and off of trains and running around. But all the technical guys, we love all that sort of stuff. That's like, you run it, it's good, and the camera's off, and that's like, yeah.
Boys with toys.
Yeah. You're watching seven, let's do it again. We don't need to go, come on, let's do it. But the more sort of like the voice cracking, emotional moments where the song and the voice and the actor really need to do some really intense, dramatic stuff, that it can be easily underestimated, I think. I think Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me is a really amazing moment. If you watch what's going on there, it's a guy with one note on a piano, ding, ding, and letting that voice cut through, and looking through a studio window, and it's seemingly very simple, but for me, I think that's some of the hardest stuff.
So, before I saw the film, before I was getting, I knew I was going to see the film, I thought for sure that this particular song would be in the movie. I think you all might know what song I'm talking about, but it wasn't there. I was wondering if it was filmed and then cut, or just not filmed at all. Someone saved my life tonight.
Taron doesn't like that song anyway.
No, it is my favourite. I love it. Yeah, it's not. It just didn't have a place. I mean, they've written like, they've got like 500 songs or something insane. I'm sure not all of them are classics, but I mean, I don't think you can get everything in there because they have so many incredible songs, and that one that just wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we're sort of in a different lane from.
A little too on the nose.
I think that's the thing. It's a beautiful song because it's Bernie it's Elton singing Bernie lyrics, which Bernie wrote about Elton, and it's I mean, I just from a musical perspective, in terms of melody, it's gorgeous. I love the sort of kitchen sink pedestrianness of it, you know, East End nights, muggy lights, curtains drawn, but it's also, it's a bit the story of the film, isn't it? So unless you're going to do it in a sort of, I know what you're getting at, because I did pitch it to Dex at one point, but it only could have been, I pitched it at the end of the movie, and it couldn't be anywhere else, because it has to be, because it's reflective, but it wouldn't have, it doesn't, you know, what purpose does it serve other than to be reflective? And reflection is inherently a slight, it's not, I don't mean it's an indulgence, but I mean it's, you're not actually doing anything. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't serve a storytelling purpose. It's a passive thing, it's not an active thing, exactly. So as much as I would love to sit here and congratulate myself on my genius idea, I think Dexter is absolutely right to completely disregard.
No, but sing it now. Sing it now. Or me, okay. No, but it's a different strand in the film as well. It is really about Elton and his survival and his personal relationship with his issues, and that would have really made it about just solely Bernie saving him. And it wasn't. We needed to look at how Elton saved himself, how he said, "I'm still standing," which is fairly on the nose as well. If you look at it, I mean, we just interpret it to be, but we celebrate that and we go, "Yeah, it's great. This is what it should be."
It's there anyway. So.
Yeah, and I suppose we could have stuck it in the scene where he's writing different songs and that guy's going, "What's that rubbish?"
Yeah.
Got boring, and you know, Big James. But
Listen to it in the car on the way home.
Okay. Who's got a question? Someone's got a question. Yes, your question. What is your question? You with the finger.
So obviously musical, and I noticed a cameo by Giles Martin, and I was just wondering obviously comes from, he's the fifth Beatle, his father, and so I'm wondering how or what influence he had on either a musical performance of yours singing, or in the movie itself as there's so much music. What was his contribution?
I mean, look, you know,
Yes.
I mean, fucking enormous. I mean, the movie's made by hundreds of people, but if I talk about the absolute nucleus of it, I would say it feels like me, Dex and Giles. I mean, also George shot it, and then, and of course everybody is crucial and integral. But if I was to talk about the absolute centre of it, just if you had to put three people in a room, the nucleus of it, Giles is a huge part of this movie, and
Giles who?
Giles Martin,
Who's the son of?
Who's son of George Martin, who produced the Beatle records, just in so many different ways in terms of not purely just from a kind of a recording perspective, but in terms of us, the three of us discussing it, creating, because it's so symbiotic. The action, the drama, and the songs all kind of bleed into one thing, so they're all informed by one another, and just in terms of nurturing me as a singer and getting me used to Abbey Road and all of that kind of, all the paraphernalia of recording, which if you're not a recording artist is a lot, and I've run out of superlatives.
Yeah, it is hard to put into words what contribution he made, because it's so massive.
Absolutely.
And even to the extent of his understanding of how rock stars function on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly.
And even what the psychology of a rock star is, and we could go to him and he would talk about things, but even his ability to interpret what it is that we were trying to dramatically achieve, and then go musically, oh no, actually it's a different thing, and he'll be able to change gear with us and shift off into a different musical direction and come with a different version. This time, I can tell you there's 15 to 20 different versions of Saturday Night Live for Fighting that we went through, or Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. He had to be adaptable because it's not our world. And so we're, as much as that frees us, it also makes us probably very frustrated because we're like, oh no, let's do it this way, completely different. But you know, he would be able to help facilitate that, and also Elton trusted him implicitly. The first time I met Elton, I went with Giles. I was like, you know, oh, Elton wants to have lunch. He's in Vegas. Come with Giles, and so I went with Giles, and Giles just sat there sort of like laughing, and you know, he's seen Elton all his life. He's known him since he was 12. It's no.
And for me, you know, I suppose it felt like I had two lives as an actor. I had my life on set with Dex, and then I had my life in studio with Giles. And of course, the lines crossed a lot, but it was like two worlds. And so I don't think it would be you know, he's the musical director. So, you know, I mean, I think that's.
And he's an amazing producer as well. And all that, everything he produced it all. It's amazing.
We recorded it all personally, you know. I mean, the tens of hundreds of hours.
We're in Abbey Road.
Abbey Road, and also Air Studios as well in Hampstead. Yeah, no, it was really cool. Recently, he held an event there for the release of the remastered Abbey Road record. And we went down and we met Paul, didn't we?
Poor thing.
What did Paul say to me? I said to him, he said, "Oh, hey." And I was like, "Oh, hi, Raymond, I love the film, it's great." And I went, "Oh, thanks." You know, I was with my best mate Glenn, and I went, you know, we came to see you when we were 10 years ago, Hyde Park, when we cried. And he went, "You know, the really strange thing is, we never set out to make anybody cry." And then my mate, he sort of looked a bit upset. And then my mate Blair went, I mean, it was fucking rocking as well. And then Paul went, "Oh, great, that's good." And so walked off. It was like the most surreal thing.
Okay, that is the greatest story. And with that, two quick suggestions, if you could help us out. Stay seated while we exit, so we can bolt to another thing. And also, please do continue to spread the word about Rocketman. Dexter Fletcher.
Dude, that is extremely cool.